and welcome to episode number 6 of Hub City Fibers podcast. My name is Lillian and I will be your host. This is a podcast about knitting mostly, as well as my indie dyer life. I'm going to jump right in. But before I jump right into what I'm working on, I want to talk a little bit more about where you guys could find me. I'm most active on Instagram, and you can find me at HUBCITYFIBERS. I'll post that right here on Instagram, so if you guys want to go and check me out and follow me and see what I'm up to on the daily, I do tend to post there at least quite frequently, so definitely go and check me out. And now I'm going to jump into what I'm working on. In the rest of the podcast, I will be talking to you guys a little bit more about what I've been doing in my yarn life, like what shops I've been visiting, and what happened this weekend, which was really full of yarn-tastic adventures. And then I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about my yarn that I have available and what I'm kind of thinking about knitting next, because it's the summertime, so Anyways, I digress. So, what is living in my Toad Hollow bag? You guys probably already know I have been knitting monogamously on my Zwag sweater. Let me take it out. But I love this bag, and this is where I'm putting most of my pins. But this is just such a pretty bag with a beautiful little leather strap that I got at Chelsea Yarns, my local yarn shop, who I love. I always go there. And so let me show you guys my Zwag. Zwag, or Gemma Darlings just recently told me that I've been pronouncing it wrong. I think she calls it Zweig. Zweig. I don't know. I've been calling it Zwag, so I'm gonna keep it at Zwag. So here it is. It is grown, guys. It has grown so much. Granted, I did cast this on in March, which is kind of crazy to think, but honestly, this is probably the best sweater that I've ever knit in my life, just because it's a fingering weight sweater, and this is my first time knitting a fingering weight. And I'm also really excited because this is another first for me when it comes to knitting with my own hand-dyed yarn, which I've never really done before, like a sweater garment. Well, actually, no, what am I talking about? My last sweater that I made was using my own yarn, but it was a DK weight yarn as opposed to a fingering weight. And so I'm really loving this. When I first started to knit the body, let me just slow with this. When I first started to knit the body, I kind of was debating whether or not I wanted to do the cable, which I did decide to do, or to just knit in the round. And just knit through. I'll show you guys the cable. I don't know if you can see that there. It's like these nice little, really simple cables. And I was debating whether or not to do it just because I really wanted to finish this sweater. But I decided to knit it a little bit faster than if I was to do the cable, which at first it took me a little bit of a while to get through a round, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do the cable. But honestly, I'm so happy I decided to do the cable because it is turning out so nice, and I'm really happy about that, really. So I'm using, again, my colors, so I'll show you guys what I'm using. For the lace portion of it, I am using this colorway called Orgasm, and I'm obsessed with it. This was a non-repeatable colorway. I'm sure if I play around in the dye pots, I could figure out exactly what I did to make this color, but this was a part of my creative singles series. It's when I took a couple skeins of singles yarn and decided to just be creative in a pot and just dye creatively without writing anything down or writing down my process. So I'm really happy with this colorway, and I wish I I wish I wrote down the recipe, but I guess that defeated the purpose of doing a creative series in the first place. So I did that for the lace section. And then I decided to knit the body out of this like grayish blue undertone. And this colorway is called, let's see if I can, this colorway is called Grains of Paradise. And this color is repeatable. I just wanted to do like a simple, I wanted to do a simple grayish undertone sweater, which I think is going to be perfect when I travel to Japan. So I'm not too upset that this sweater isn't finished and I'm kind of taking my sweet time on it, just because I know that it'll get a lot of wear and tear when I go to Japan in October for my honeymoon. Yeah, I'm going on my honeymoon and I'm going to definitely, it's going to be my honeymoon sweater. But I am so obsessed, guys. Like, I love it so much. And I feel like I'm literally going to wear and tear this sweater because it's just so beautiful. I love it. Oh, and I don't know if I told you guys, the Orgasm colorway, this colorway, is a singles ply yarn. And it's my first time knitting with a single ply, which a lot of people, you meet those knitters that are like, they die for singles yarn, or they absolutely don't like it at all. And, honestly, I haven't worn this yet to kind of see the effects of a single ply yarn on a garment, but I guess we'll find out once I block it. And this will kind of open up just a tad. I feel like it'll bloom. I tend to do that when I get excited. But yeah, I've been trying to do at least 4 rows a day on it. But I have always been someone who has a lot of projects on. And like, actually, I'll talk about that with my next project. I have been knitting solely on this for the past couple of months. And I think over the weekend I decided like I need a sock on the needles. And so I'll show you guys that sock right now. And again, that's living in my Toad Hollow bag. Okay guys, I'm back. So there's another sweater that I have on the needles and I have 0 progress on it because I am stuck. And honestly, I hate when I get stuck. I tend to just put the projects away and just look at them from afar and just store them away because I don't want to look at them anymore, honestly. That's my problem. So that pattern is, oh my god, I can't believe how small it is. This is the first time I'm seeing it since I've put it away. And this is the Threat Mirror by Isol Latif. And it's a Lopapesa style yoke sweater, which I love Lopapesas. And that is I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's a traditional Icelandic sweater. And I went to Iceland back in September and I had a goal to purchase a Lopapesa and never ended up purchasing one because every time I went and tried one on, it just did not fit my body the way I wanted it to. And I ended up leaving Iceland telling myself that I would just knit myself a sweater since obviously I know how to knit. And when I saw Kristen from Woolenvine Yarns, or from the Yarngasm podcast, when she knit this sweater, I immediately wanted to cast on because I had told myself I always wanted a Lopapesa and this was perfect. It was the most perfect pattern. Oh, this has given me so much grief. I'm stuck. I love the way it turned out, but I'm stuck and I'm supposed to knit on the body and separate the arms. But I don't know. I'm kind of mad at it. But I love the pattern. Like, I'm so proud of myself for doing this yoke I'm so proud of myself for doing this because honestly, I didn't think I would be able to keep up with this color work. When you first see an Isolde Latif pattern, you think it's not something that you can knit. But when I was able to kind of finish this, I was so proud of it. I'm definitely going to get back on it, maybe send her an email. I did actually reach out to her on an Instagram post and did tell her that I was stuck on her project and like, who should I contact? I guess I'm allergic to this wool because I always tend to touch my nose whenever I bring it out. And the colors I'm using for this are a cream color, this yellow, and this green. And this yarn is Jamieson & Smith. Jamieson & Smith 100% Shetland wool from Shetland Islands. It's a 2-ply jumper weight. And, you know, I've said this before on the podcast, I love working with natural yarns. And I also love to work with merino nylon cashmere yarns, if you guys are wondering too, to work on sweaters. I do love natural yarns. I love the way they feel when you're knitting them. It makes me feel more organic, if that makes any sense. And yeah, I'm stuck on a part. I'm stuck on it and I don't want to think about it, so I'm going to put it away. And this is currently living in my You Sew and Sew project bag, which has the cutest sheep on it. I love this bag. I love all my bags. I love all hand knit bags. I get so many compliments on them. So many people are like, oh my god, where'd you get that bag? And I'm like, it's handmade, it's hand sewn, and it's made with love, and you know where it comes from, and you know who made it. And they're really special to me, honestly. And I wouldn't have bought these bags if I wasn't in this yarn community, honestly, because I feel like the average consumer doesn't know that you can get handmade goods, that you know where they're sourced, you know where they're made. And that's why these bags are just so special to me. And I especially love when I actually buy a bag from someone that I get to meet in person, because it's just so amazing. And I talked to you guys about this in my last episode when I went to the Pennsylvania Allentown Yarn Festival. And that is where I got this beautiful canvas bag made with Japanese fabric, which obviously holds a special place in my heart because I'm going to Japan. And like this waxed canvas. So it's a really durable bag. I feel like I could leave this outside in a thunderstorm and it would survive. So if I ever get stranded on a desert island, this is the bag coming with me for my project. So for Father's Day, I was knitting my dad a pair of socks. And obviously you guys don't know my dad, but my dad is very vanilla when it comes to what he likes to wear. And, you know, I wanted to, I made my mother Mother's Day socks, and I'm sure I talked about that on previous episodes if you guys want to revert back. And when I gave those socks to my mom, my dad immediately was like, where's my socks? So I had to cast on a pair of socks for my dad. But my dad's very vanilla when it comes to what he likes to wear. I'm talking about he only likes to wear like black. So I made him a scarf before, a very boring 2x2 rib scarf, which if you guys don't know, I am one of those knitters that don't really like to do things that don't have a lot of action in them. Like something that's just 2x2 rib that's super long. Like, that's not something I enjoy knitting. Like, I like to do something that has multiple steps, something that's going to keep me kind of, like, entertained, if that makes any sort of sense. So, when he told me he wanted a black pair of socks, I immediately told him, I will not knit you. I feel so bad saying this. I feel like a terrible child. But I told him, like, I just will not knit a black pair of socks. Like, I just can't do that. I'd go crazy. So there was this pair of Croft West Yorkshire Spinner Shetland tweed that I had in my stash. And I said, let me cast on a pair for my dad. So I decided to cast this on. I decided to use a different yarn for the cuff. And this yarn is Wool of the Andes Knit Picks in their Oatmeal Heather colorway. And then the Croft Shetland Tweed. And then I did the heel in that. And I realized, I showed it to him progress, and I know he's not going to wear it. So, honestly, I tuck these away. And I'm probably going to give these to Steve, my fiance, because he'll wear anything. Thank the Lord. He'll wear anything I make for him, which is really nice. But he loves when I make him socks. Like, he's so grateful. I've made him like maybe 2 or 3 pairs, and he loves them. He always tells me how much he enjoys them. So I think I'll finish these off when I'm in the mood to start knitting on them again. Damn emails. When I'm in the mood to start knitting them again. So, and I'm using the Hiya Sharps DPNs. I'm definitely a DPN knitter. And this is just a regular plain vanilla sock that I'm knitting on. And so this is the Heather Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, which, if you guys don't know, I bought this yarn. This is some leftover yarn that I bought from a sweater that I made. My first worsted weight sweater, one of my first worsted weight sweaters that I made, it's called Lemongrass by Joji Locatelli. And you guys can take and see some pictures of that on my Ravelry. My Ravelry name is LP384. Again, I'll put that right here on the down bar so that you guys can kind of go and check that out if you guys are interested. But I knit a sweater out of it, and I had some left over. And if you guys don't know, this yarn is super cheap. It's $1.99. It's 100% Peruvian Andes wool. It's very soft, very standard yarn. And you can make a sweater for 30 bucks if you really wanted to using this type of yarn. And they have like a million colors. So if you guys are thinking about making a sweater, a DK worsted weight sweater, and you just don't want to spend over $100, which is understandable, on yarn, then I would definitely go to Knit Picks and purchase their Wool of the Andes. I am not sponsored, but Knit Picks, if you are watching, which I know you're not, I will allow you to sponsor me. But I know that you guys will never see that. But that's Living in This Project Bag, made by Tanny Casey. And she's amazing. I love her. And finally, like I told you guys before, when I was working on my Zweg, anyways, my Zweg by Boylan Knits. I was working on that predominantly, monogamously is really what I should say. And I got kind of tired. I was like, I don't want to knit on this anymore because, like I said before, like I'm someone who has like 3-4 projects on the needles, and I haven't. And so I finally was like, I need to cast something on for myself. I need to do it. So I did. And I'll show you guys what I cast it on. So this is the yarn. I obviously cast it on a pair of socks. This is the yarn. And it's like this burgundy color with like pops of like cotton candy pinks and purples and blues. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm using DPNs, and I'm using the the Carbons, Knit Pro Carbons double pointed needles, and this is my progress so far. I'm just doing a regular vanilla sock. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys will see that I don't know if I love this color combo. Like, as I look at it more and more, I do like it, but I don't know. When I first was knitting it, I was like, is this ugly or is this not ugly? And I don't want to be like, you know, mean, because the person who dyed this is an independent dyer from Germany. My friend actually got this yarn for me in Germany when she went and visited in this local yarn shop, and it's a Christmas colorway called Leberkuchen, which means gingerbread house in German. And yeah, like it looks beautiful in skein form. And I didn't know if I loved it or if I don't know. It's growing on me day by day. Let me know what you guys think under in the comments. What do you guys think about this? Give me a little bit of honesty. Do you guys love it? Do you guys hate it? Am I nuts? I like it right now, honestly. Like, I do like it right now, but some days I'm working on it and I'm like, ugh, I don't like this. But now that I'm knitting on it right now and looking at it, I actually really like it. So, there's that. So, I only have a little progress done on it, and I'll hold that up for a little longer so you guys can see. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. And that's living in my little sock bag, as well as my Chelsea yarns. Like these ruler wrists, like this ruler jewelry that I had to get when I went to go visit Chelsea. Christina, the owner of Chelsea Yarns, she has this all over her Instagram, and honestly, it's the best thing ever, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm constantly losing my measuring tape, and if you just have this on your wrist, then you could just take it off really quickly and measure out your progress, which is fantastic and awesome that it serves a dual purpose. She also has an exclusive rose-colored colorway, so you guys can go and check her out. I think she has it up on her website, chelseayarns.com. And that's pretty much all that I'm working on right now, believe it or not. Mostly on my Zweig. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I did this weekend. I had the most amazing time at Chelsea Yarns, which is my local yarn shop that I go and visit as frequently as I can. And I went to go and visit Asylum Fibers, Stephanie of Asylum Fibers. She was having a trunk show at Chelsea Yarns, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it because I did plan on going camping, but there was terrible weather, forecasted thunderstorms, so we ended up canceling the camping trip, and I'm so happy we did, because I wouldn't have been able to meet Stephanie in person and all the others that were at Chelsea Yarns just yarning it up. And I had such a great time meeting like so many people in the yarn community that I'm sure you guys know. But I've known of Asylum Fibers because obviously I follow her, and I've seen her around the gram, the Instagram, and I've never seen her yarn in person. And guys, Stephanie is such a talented dyer. I mean, look at this colorway. Look at this. This is so beautiful. I love her theme. I just love her colorways. They're so saturated, and this colorway is called Coagulation, and it's in a single ply fingering weight, 100% superwash merino. And she's just she's so cool to be around. Like, she's such a down-to-earth girl, and like, it was so good to meet. It was so nice to meet you. It was so nice to meet her. It was so wonderful to meet her. She's such a sweetheart. And yeah, if you guys don't know anything about Asylum Fibers, I would go check out her website or check her out on Instagram. She is so she's so cool. Her theme is awesome. She does kind of like a asylum theme yarns, and they're very special. So I'm really excited to use this. I'm gonna stash this definitely and use this in the fall probably, because this would make an excellent lace part of a shawl. Or maybe I'll make, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this yet, but I know when I find the perfect pattern that I'm gonna put this in there. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun this weekend going to her trunk show. I got to meet so many people in the yarn YouTube community. I was completely starstruck. I had no idea that I'd be walking into Chelsea Yarns and I would be walking into meeting like so many people that I follow on YouTube. And I was talking to someone about this in the yarn shop. Like, I was talking to Vincent Knit Owl, and I was talking to him about like when I'm starstruck, I get so nervous to talk to people because it's like, you know so much about them and their life and you know who they are as a person, but they don't know who you are, so you don't want to appear to be kind of like a stalker, kind of, if you guys understand what I mean. But yeah, I got to meet Gemma Darlings for the first time. I got to meet Christy Glass for the first time, which is like Christy Glass, obviously. Who wouldn't get starstruck? Alex Creates, who I've been following for a while and I obviously love. Gigi Made It, I met again. I've seen her before. She's such a pleasure to be around. If you guys know who she is, she's always in orange, which I think is so cute that she always gravitates towards the color orange. I think that's so awesome. Like, I love meeting people that love to just wear a certain color or are just obsessed with the color. Like, there's just something so awesome about that. Me, Corrado, obviously Stephanie from Asylum Fibers, and just so many other people. It was just so much fun, like, to just knit around with people that you follow and just like look up to. It was really just I had the biggest smile on my face the entire time because I just couldn't believe it. It's like, picture your favorite celebrity and picture yourself having dinner with them or doing your favorite activity. Like, that's what it felt like for me a little bit. So I had so much fun at that time. And if you guys ever get the chance to go to Chelsea Yarns in Red Bank, like, I highly recommend it, honestly, because it's really just, Christina just does such a good job bringing the community together, being super nice to everybody that walks through her door, you know, carrying a bunch of independent dyers. Her yarn is beautiful. She dyes her own yarns too, so she understands what it's like to be an independent dyer, which is very different, I feel like, from other yarn stores who just supply yarn. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course, but to have like a yarn store that pretty much does it all in the yarn community is pretty awesome. And yeah, I have oodles and oodles of fun things to say about Chelsea Yarn. So if you guys live in New Jersey, you guys should go visit Chelsea Yarns because she's awesome. Now, in the last 5 minutes of this podcast, I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the yarns I have in the shop right now, and you guys can go and check that out at www.hubcityfibers.com if you guys are interested. And I'm not going to bombard you with so many colors that I have. I'm just going to talk to you about, you know, 5 or 6. So one of the colorways that I have is Amethyst Geode, and this is in my Squish base, which is a 100% superwash merino. It's this delicate gray with like little bits and pieces of like magenta speckles and little blues. And this is something that you can make a beautiful hat with, fingering weight hat. You can use this in shawls. Pretty much all the yarns that I'm going to show you, except for one, pretty much all the yarns I'm going to show you is fingering weight, which is perfect for shawls, sweaters. You can use it in socks. You can use it in hats. They're very versatile, so definitely go and check it out. This is my Amethyst Geode. You can get better pictures on my website too. Another yarn that I have that's in Squish is called Romance Novel, and this is just like a mauvey color. Very romantic, very novel-y. Another yarn that I have that's in my squish base is my Bazooka colorway, Bazooka Gum. And I don't know about you guys, but if you guys remember Bazooka Gum, doesn't this kind of look like it? This would be so pretty in like a shawl with some lace work, I feel like. It's just like this like very light pink with speckled turquoise. Another colorway I have here is my Chestnuts Roasting colorway, which I have had this colorway since the holidays. This is like one of my best sellers. It's just like a beautiful chestnut color. And this color does so well because it is such a wearable color. I tend to gravitate towards colors like these when I'm shopping for clothes because I think it goes really well with my skin tone and with my hair color and with my eyes. And I think it goes pretty well with anybody's skin tone. And I think everybody should have a sweater or a garment, hat, or anything made out of this colorway. I feel like this colorway is coming out a lot in the indie dyers world. So yeah, I have this on tweed. Another colorway I have is this colorway, which is called Nude. I am thinking about starting a nude. I'm gonna do I'm working on this project right now. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram. I had these luxury boxes that I was making, which were very exclusive, which I don't have any to show you right now, but I'm thinking about creating another collection and it being a nude collection because I love wearing things that are skin tone colors, so like dark warm browns, coffee colors, caramels, nudes, beiges, porcelain colors, and this is something that would definitely qualify as that. So I'm really excited. This is me just testing some of the colors that I will be thinking about dyeing for this new collection, but I'll tell you guys more about that in the next episode probably. And finally, I'll show you guys a DK weight yarn, and this beauty is a delicate pinky color, and it's called Pink Ceramic Piggy Bank, which I don't know about you guys, but I always had a piggy bank when I was younger, and I would always throw coins in it. And then when I would fill it up, when it would be filled to the brim, I would go into my local ShopRite, and I would just dump it in that machine that would give you a receipt to take to the cashier and just cash it out and make an easy $15 or something like that. But I thought this reminded me of my childhood piggy bank, and it's just like a delicate, classic pink color. And it is in my merino nylon cashmere delicious base, and it's just such a lovely yarn to work with. Honestly, this base is really nice because of that 10% cashmere. It's very special. So yeah, that concludes the episode. Thank you so much for coming back and, you know, listening to me, you know, talk about my yarn life and everything like that. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.